Hello. Okay, in this video I want to explain how to give a base mesh a kind of rig to pose the object or the character. And with a new version 1.6.5 and now 1.6.8 of Nomad Sculpt, it's possible to create parent-child combinations, I say it now, to to give the object points to where you can rotate something and adjust the arm and the head and so on. Sorry, my English is not the best, but I try to explain this. Okay, let's start. This is at the moment this is only one combined object of multiple parts. When I press the mask button, you see here I can select everything for its own, but it's one object. When I press in the scene menu the three dots, I can separate the whole object in its separate parts. Okay, now we got a long list here and it's everything is named object. Okay, first we have to clean this up. And at the right side is a new tool, the selection tool or select lasso tool, or you can use a rectangular or ellipse. I use a lasso. A few parts of this object we don't need. Draw with a lasso around the objects, and here I turn on the outline. You can see I selected now the leg, but we don't need two legs, we need only one leg, and I delete this one. The same for the arm here, select it and delete this arm. And the select tool is very handy to combine the objects again. Here the hand, and in the scene menu there's a join function. Here press join, and when you press now here, this object is now the hand. I rename it. Okay, and I select the next one here and only the leg we need, and we can join it and rename it as a leg. Then the head, I select the head. Let's see, sorry, I do it again. And join it, and this is the head. Okay. So, okay, we can hide or make it invisible. The arm. Oh, the arm, we have only the hand. And the leg. And the next one, we select this one. Make sure that only one object is selected. Join it This is the arm. Okay. And the rest is here the body. You can split the body in multiple parts. I say let's do it in 2 parts. Then we can adjust it a little bit better. I say this one. Sorry. Let's join this. And I don't know the word for it. I name it body 2. And I hide this one. And the rest, select it and join it. This is body 1. Okay. We can make body 2 visible again. And now it's the beginning of the parent-child combination. The body 1, I say it's the parent. And here, and I pick now body 2 and I bring it here in the hierarchy like this in body 1. Then the 2 parts are now in a relationship or something, that they stick together. Okay. And when I now go in the side view and use the gizmo, you see here the anchor point of this object. And at the left side there's a pivot function. Press pivot, and now you can adjust the position of the pivot, like this one here. And deselect the pivot. And for the body 1, we can do the same. Pivot and bring it also in this position here somewhere. And when you deselect the pivot, you see now here when body 1 is selected, everything moves. Body 2 and body 1. When I select only this one, it moves only at this position. Okay. The question is here, when I divide them again, separate parts, I think it's better for this mesh to keep them separate, the upper body and the body here. I hope you understand. Okay. The next thing is we make the head visible here. And the head has what's the name for the skull and a jaw, I think. And here in the solo view, we can again separate this mesh. Separate, press, and then here's a group named head. And here we can now use the selection again. Use the lasso selection and select this one. And now this is the jaw. We can join it. Jaw. I hope it's correct what I say. And this is the skull, the upper skull, and use the select tool and select the rest here and join it again and name it skull. Okay. And make the jaw again visible. And leave the solo view here. And now pick the jaw and make it as a child of the skull. And use again the gizmo and the pivot and bring this pivot in the position of the jaw where it rotates. When you now move the gizmo, you can adjust the jaw. Then select the head and use again the pivot function and bring this pivot in the right position to rotate the complete head, I think, and leave the pivot. For the complete group, head 1, you can do the same. Use pivot and bring it here in the correct position and leave the pivot again. So now the head is not connected to the body. You can now pick the head and bring it to body 1 as a child. Okay. When you now select body 1, I hope it's understandable. When you now move the gizmo of body 1, the head is a child and it moves with the body 1. And the nice thing is when you here pick the jaw, you can adjust the jaw here. And when you pick the body 1, you can move it. And when you pick the complete head, you can move the head. I do a few steps back to this position. Okay, what's the next? We got here the hand and the arm. And now make this visible. And let's concentrate only on the arm. The arm is now combined, 2 bones. Sorry, I don't know the names for the bones in English. Press on the small 3 dots and separate them. Here's the arm, and with the select, we can select these 2 bones and join them again, and I rename it. Bone arm 1, and this one bone arm 2. And bone number 1 is the parent. Pick now bone arm 2 and bring it to bone arm 1 as a child. Okay. Then we have the hand here. The hand is joined at the moment, and you can bring it to bone arm 2. Oops. Now it's a child of bone arm 2. Okay. So now the gizmo points and the pivot points again. Pivot of the hand is here, and check the side view also and bring it in position. Leave it, the pivot tool. Then the next part is this one. Pivot, bring it in position and check the side view and leave the tool. And the last one, pivot, side view. I think it's okay. Now we check the pivot points. Perfect. And the complete group, the pivot, adjust it. Okay. Now the arm is complete. Let's make the rest again visible. And now we need a mirror. The complete arm is selected, and at the left side here is the small plus, and here you can apply a mirror repeater. Press mirror, and in the small menu in the top of the screen there's a validate button. Press it. Here, join children. This one, no, don't join the children, and press yes. Now you see here in the scene, the arm has two arms, arm 1 and arm 1 again. Here you can rename it, this one as, from my view, is this arm the right one. And this one is the left one. When you bring the object in this view, it's yes, it's the opposite. But I work like this. Okay, the arms are ready. Let's check the arms. Press here. You can adjust this one and this one. Again, and the hand. It works fine. The other arm, yes. Let's undo the steps. Okay, the rest is now the legs. I make them visible, and they are joined at the moment. I separate the parts of the leg, and let's start with the foot. Select this one and join it. foot. The next thing are these bones, and I think I select these 3 bones here and I join it. Foot 2. And this one is foot 1. Okay, let's start with I think we rename it as leg 1. Foot is a foot. Leg 2. Okay, we start with the foot. The foot is a child of leg 2. And the complete leg 2 with the foot is a child of leg 1. Okay. Then we need the anchor points, the pivots. Start with the foot, gizmo, pivot edit, and bring it in position. Check the front view and leave the pivot. Select the next part, pivot, I think this is okay. And now this one, pivot, and it's correct, I think. Now we can make the arm again visible. Okay, let's check the foot. Yeah, it moves everything. This one, correct. And the foot. And select the complete group and adjust also the pivot for the complete one. Okay. The next thing is, again, we need a mirror. Press Add, Mirror, and validate. And now we got, again, 2 parts. This is the leg right. This is the leg left. Okay. Then we have here the body 2. And here is the leg group. The leg group now becomes the child of body 2. Okay. And we have the arm group. The arm group must be a child of the upper body, body 1. We move the arm to body 1 and make it a child. We can make it visible. And now we can test here. This is the body 1, the upper body. Now when we move it, everything moves with the upper body. And when we select the hips, I think the legs are moved with the hips. Okay, and now it's time to save this. Save. Skeleton. Poseable. 1. And now let's test it. Let's create a new scene. Yes. We don't need the sphere. And add to scene. And bring our poseable skeleton in. Okay. Let's start with a body here. Then bring the head in position, looking at this position, open the jaw, then bring the head, now the arm in a position like this one, and the hand. With a gizmo. And you have only to select the parts here. And create a pose. Like this. And one interesting thing is when you bring you can also bring an object in. For example, when I draw here a tube. So when you reset the pivot here to this position and here bring it here in this, now you can give it the skeleton in a hand. This is better to do at the beginning, and so yeah, first create your pivot points, and the last thing is to pose your mesh, I think. Okay, then here in the leg, here is now the tube. You can bring it out of the leg hierarchy, and you know here is your hand, And when you here bring the tube, this is the right hand to see the right object. And when you now bring it to the hand and make it a child, and when you select now the hand, this object always does the same as the hand. And you can adjust it a little bit when it's not in an exact place, like this. So let's I'm searching for a nice view, and okay. So now I make my render picture, and save it. Press done. And that's it. Have fun with sculpting. Ciao.